All right, folks. So here we are, day 5 after the operation. I can actually still see a little betadine staining between my toes there, I think. Um, as you can clearly see, I don't have the brace on. I don't even have the ACE wrap on. All I have are the surgical dressings that, going to change periodically. Uh, in 2 days, I go back for my first post-op kind of checkup, post-operative appointment, whatever you want to call it. So that'll be 1 week afterwards. What I'm doing right now is just trying to get used to feeling the floor and feeling a little bit of weight going through this when I don't have any bracing on the knee itself, even the compression from the ACE wraps. Now I did wake up this morning very very sore. It was sort of a dull ache in my knee that I attribute to maybe a combination of being more aggressive yesterday than I'd planned. Because at the beginning I was like, oh, I'm going to rest today. And then I ended up actually doing a lot of stuff. And maybe also just having a couple of weird steps that I took. I got into a battle with a bug at one point, and it jumped a little bit, and so then I had to shift my weight really rapidly. And I had the brace on, but it still put a shock through my knee that I wasn't ready for, and maybe I'm a little sore from that little escapade. But anyway, I've been crutching around. Definitely not going to just do the cane or try to walk on this thing yet. But I did want to expose myself to a little bit of that. So anyway, here we are so far with the crutch situation, and I'll show you where I am with the lying down exercises in a moment. And here we are on the couch. I needed to get off of my feet after that, the previous segment, because just even if I don't have weight on my knee or on this leg, just having it hang below me is painful. And, because there's pooling, and basically I can feel the pressure build up in my knee, and a little bit below it as well. So sort of at the top of my shin, things get a little achy. Um, and I imagine it's simply because there's still a lot of damage in there, and uh, there's going to be a lot of edema. There's just going to be a lot of fluid that wants to sit there for a while or is passing through there. And on the subject of having fluid pass through, it's one of the reasons why we do these exercises. So obviously you do exercises to regain function, regain strength. So trying to, keep my calf from totally, just wasting away, trying to minimize the amount of atrophy in my quad, and we'll do that in a second. But also, the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of muscles allows for a pumping action to bring blood through the veins back to your heart, which is a good thing. You don't want blood to just sit there and be stagnant in your legs or anywhere. And so that's a very important part of post-operative therapy or post-operative rehabilitation, if you will, or just any kind of post-injury rehab, really, as you can tolerate, assuming it's not excruciatingly painful. Moving around is a very good thing. So I have been trying to move a decent bit. So I'm just doing this rhythmic little ankle pump sort of thing. And sometimes I'll push, a little harder at the very end, and that's not too bad. You can't see a whole lot, but I'm contracting my calf a little bit more. It already looks like my calf is wasted away a little bit compared to my other one. I don't know if it'll show, but you can see a little bit more definition there. And of course I can do more with it. I can't get quite the same amount of contraction here just yet. Some of the discoloration is probably masking some things as well. Speaking of discoloration, obviously, the bruising has spread out a little bit. Though I want to remark that I think, some of the orange here is not actually like bilirubin. It's not just breakdown byproducts of blood that you see with bruising. But also, we have some residual staining from the betadine that they probably used during the surgery. I don't have footage of the surgery, but that's my assumption, is that they did that. So there is some of that, and I just haven't scrubbed it all away really heavily. So call me dirty if you want. No leakage through the dressing that we've been able to see so far. So this is good. Very good. I haven't felt any serious sharp pain right at the incision site. in the last couple of days, so I think I'm balancing things and I'm not pushing it too hard. But anyway, enough about that. Next time I change it, if there's anything worth noting, I might share that in a video. Uh, so we had the ankle thing. That's not all we got, right? First time I took the brace off, I did some exercises. I think I did. And I was just trying to work on flexion. I'm getting enough flexion back in my knee now to where I can actually let my foot my leg dangle a little bit off of the edge of something and it's not super painful. But I can, I can wiggle this around. Of course, things are still tight in the front here, especially with the tegaderm. But that's another reason why we want to try to clear out some of the swelling. So I do try to massage this out. You can see that there's clearly a bunch of swelling still in here. But that's just how it's going to be for a while, But in terms of regaining function, let's see if I can get it from the side. I'm going to drag my heel back, and you can clearly see that I've got more flexion than I did before. Things are so tight in front here that I feel like I'm going to rip the tegaderm if I go much farther. So that's actually part of the issue. Back of the knee, there's not any real pain. It's not super achy or anything as far as I can tell. I can go farther. The knee is not really hurting. And I can kind of just oscillate right here with my hand, or I can take my hand off and do it. So this is more some hip flexor and actually a little bit of hamstring, bending the knee. My quad isn't, the non-hip flexor quads are not doing a whole lot right now. And actually the hip flexor, the rectus femoris, is probably not doing much either. Because that requires putting tension through the quad tendon going into the top of the kneecap, and then the patellar tendon or the patellar ligament down here, which I've talked about before, has been split and is stitched back together. So it's gonna take a minute, but I can do these. There's a little bit of pain, but the discomfort's tolerable. Because I was more sore today when I woke up, I did go back to the hydrocodone. I'm not trying to be, the toughest guy in the world here. It was pretty bad. In fact, I woke up today with the worst soreness so far since the surgery. So I figured maybe I got overzealous with some of the work that I was doing before. And actually, just after those few reps I just did and the time I spent standing, my knee feels really hot right now. So there's clearly blood flowing through here and accumulating in this area, and it's hot to the touch too. So when I mentioned before, I think I may have mentioned before, I'm not doing a ton of icing. I am doing some kind of strategic use of ice, where just to kind of take the edge off, I might take my ice pack and put it down on here for, a minute or two, something like that. Just as tolerated, just to calm things down and literally cool it off a bit. But I'm not sitting here with an ice pack on my leg all day. It's really not a good idea for a variety of reasons. And, I'm trying to let movement and function kind of be a guide for me, while still sometimes making room to do a little bit of icing or a little bit of more passive kind of therapy as needed. As I need to rest, I rest, basically. So there we are. I am doing quad sets, and actually I was advised to do this by somebody very close to me who's a physical therapist, to actually do them together. So, I can obviously contract my right quad, and I can extend my knee past 180 degrees, a couple of degrees past that. It's just naturally the range that I have. I can't lift this leg up yet with my quad, lock my knee and do a straight leg raise like that. That'll be a good milestone when I can do that. So I'm trying to get that back, and part of it is just learning how to basically do this, where I contract my quad enough, apologize for my lack of a tan, you can kind of see my kneecap, maybe you can, contracting enough to take all the slack out of the tendon here, and pull on the kneecap, and then take the slack out of the tendon, or the ligament down here, so I can actually get the tibia to come up, so I can actually extend my knee. that's going to take more time. I might, in the next few days, get to where I can do it. I'm going to try to do it now. So you can see some quad action doing a little bit, but it still feels very spongy compared to what I can do over here. So I'm going to try a few of these. And I'm doing them together. I didn't finish my thought earlier. Physical therapist I was referring to, she was saying that maybe it can help me to coordinate if I contract both quads at the same time. And I think there could be some merit to that. So you see that I'm getting some extension here, straightening my knee out a little bit. And eventually, I'll be able to lift my left leg up, but it's going to take some time. I'll try a couple more. And as I try to like contract this and lift my leg, everything starts to shake. So it's clearly not ready. But if I keep doing this, I'm pretty confident before long I'll regain that ability. And that's going to help tremendously. Once I can contract this quad enough to generate a decent amount of torque in this joint, that's going to do wonders for my ability to bear actual weight here and to stabilize the joint, to kind of lock it down when there's, you know, weight-bearing amounts, when there are weight-bearing amounts of force going through it. So that would be nice. I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to bend my knee a little bit and just kind of let it rest here. And I have also been doing some massage. I think I talked about in a previous video, you know, trying to flush some of this out. Maybe it's helping, maybe it's not, but it feels good. It feels kind of therapeutic. Just trying to get some of this, you know, keep the edema from stagnating there, from sitting in the joint for too long. It's not terribly tender, you know. I can tap on these things. Right here, there's some tenderness. This is close to the joint line. And there's another tender spot over the other side, kind of near the head of my fibula. So there are a few points where things do hurt, and I imagine that's because they had to rummage around in there, and they probably just bruised or scraped some stuff up inside there. But I think overall I'm doing all right. So anyway, this was a wordy enough, lengthy enough kind of update. That's what I got for you right now. So thanks.